Fellow tennis nerds, I hope you're well. Welcome to the Wilson Tour 98 Japan edition review. I have been testing this frame. It was pretty hyped up among racket nerds worldwide and really been enjoying this one. It comes with a pretty hefty swing weight and that is a bit cumbersome at times, but also gives you some addictive power. Not sure if it was my sample or if you have similar specs, but let's talk first about what's in this frame. So what is the Wilson Ultra Tour? There are quite a few Ultra frames now. We have the Ultra 100, which is pretty forgiving, easy to use, large sweet spot, a little bit dampened. It feels a little bit lacking of weight to it. You can add weight to it, of course, and improve that, but that's the feeling in stock form. Then we have the Ultra Pro 99, which is pretty much the Steam 99, but they have changed the layup a little bit, made it a bit softer on the arm, which most amateurs like. It's also a little bit more dampened, but it feels like it also has a bit more of a liveliness in the string bed. Maybe that's an imagined thing, but other playtesters and players have felt the same, that the Steam 99 is perhaps a bit more controlled than the Ultra Pro 99. But many people love the Ultra Pro 99. It is kind of a rocket launcher. It really shoots the ball out with lots of pace. Then there's also Ultra Tour 95. That's the old like N Tour, H Tour mold. That 27.25 inch length racket with a 95 square inch head size and a 1620 pattern. This one is endorsed by Jinwen Zheng, and many other players actually use this or have used it, especially on the WTA Tour. But it's a bit of a longer frame, it has a small head size, but it still gives you good power thanks to that swing weight that you get with a longer frame. That's why I thought when Wilson announced this one and this came out that they would make it standard length, because they already have that Tour 95 that's been around for a long time, and that is already 27.25. So that this one also is 27.25 is a bit of a question mark to me. I think standard length frames are easier to sell. Of course, there are players who love longer frames, but for most players, I think standard length is the way to go. That's my main peeve when you look at the specifications. And what's interesting with these specifications is that on Tennis Warehouse Europe, where I got this frame from, use TNER10 if you also want to buy a racket from there, or shoes or something else. Doesn't work on all products because discounted products are excluded, and I think also tennis balls and ASIC shoes for some reason. If you look at the specs sheet from Tennis Warehouse Europe, they usually have unstrung and strung weight, which I think is good. You should also have that on Tennis Warehouse regular one, the US site. They don't measure the swing weight here, which is a bit disappointing for me, since mine is 350-ish strung, a little bit lower, 348 strung with Olo Power 125. And you can see here that there's a difference in the length of the frame. That's pretty evident. Even if it's like this much difference, it makes a difference when you swing. Also makes a difference in terms of swing weight. You have a higher swing weight with more length. If you go even longer on a frame, you're going to have even more swing weight. So good to keep that in mind. It's going to feel a bit slower. Contact point is going to be different on all your shots. Might really help you on serves especially, and shots where you have to have a better reach. You're going to have a bit more reach, but it might affect your timing on ground strokes, for example. And I did feel that. I did like it straight from the get-go. Feels kind of right at home, has more control than the Ultra Pro 99 for sure. That's a very good thing. String pattern pretty dense, 18, 19, but nothing that you can generate any spin. But yeah, the ball is going to go with a slightly lower trajectory than if you had 16, 19. Beam 22mm constant, that's pretty nice. I like that. It feels like a little bit beefed up blade with more stiffness, so it has the power, it has the pop, this racket. Easy to put pressure on your opponent. You can really whack the ball with this kind of swing weight, with this kind of stability and power. You can be aggressive and really dominate. However, when you have to really whip on the ball, generate some racket head speed, maybe when the ball is lower and you have to dig it up and move to the net, that's when this length and this swing weight starts being an issue. For me personally, maybe you are happy with a high swing weight and you play well with it. For me, I like swing weights around 330 max. When it's like 15, 20 points higher, it's gonna affect my game pretty badly. You know, it's only probably enough with 5, 10 points, but in this case, it's quite a lot. So That's where I felt that the racket was a bit slow. Otherwise, I liked it on pretty much every shot. Like on returns, you could really use the stability of this frame. You can attack the ball with good timing. It will not be an issue to block back even heavy serves with this type of weight and swing weight. 308 grams unstrung, kind of a rare spec, but I guess they wanted to base it on Nishikori. It's a Nishikori signature racket. So it really does well in stability, it does give you enough power, and the control on flatter shots is great. The spin potential is the issue here. You have to really work hard to get enough rip and whip on the ball, and that's where I felt like was the downside of the frame. I mean, if you're a flat power striker and you want to attack, maybe move to the net, you rely heavily on your serve and +1, then I think this frame should be tried. You have to be ready for some beefiness, but if you like that kind of feel, maybe you play the RF97 and then they discontinued that one, as you know, and now you want to find an alternative. I consider this one. The length, as I said, might take some getting used to. I wasn't really bothered by it on the one-handed backhand so much. Sometimes that can be a sensitive shot for different specs and so on. But it was more the forehand where I like my arrow, where I need to like whip the ball more. I want to be more creative in the type of shot trajectory and angle I play. This one limited me a bit more. Felt like I have to go flat cannon. When I did, the result was pretty good, but I also overhit quite a bit in points play. So it's like a racket where you go like all in, and some days it works, some days it doesn't work. So I like it. I think it has a lot of good things. I think it's one of the better frames in the Wilson arsenal. I know they are working hard, bringing out soon blades that has more power. The Python or whatever it's going to be called, the spin racket, seems most people love that one. I also like it. So they're bringing out a lot of stuff, Wilson. Reply to the popularity of arrows and E-zones and so on from other brands. And I think this is a step in the right direction. I would have changed the following. I would have liked a little bit more open pattern, 16-19, why not? Or even 16-20. And I would have made it standard length. The length is bothering me, and I think it can bother other people, because otherwise, I mean, the look is amazing. It looks amazing, it plays really nice, you have good feel, no problem on drop shots, you get more pop on the serve with the extra length. It's just when you need a bit more maneuverability, which the game kind of relies on these days. But maybe I just got a whopper of a swing weight. The balance is pretty towards the head on my racket. Maybe you are lucky, but we don't want to play that game, right? We want to know that approximately what we get is a certain spec. I know from my members that there one guy, he got like one that was pretty whippy. So maybe he got like an under spec one and I got an over spec one. But just so you know, it's a slightly longer frame and you might be bothered by it. You might not, but you might. Still, it's one of the best frames in Wilson arsenal. I think it's the best Ultra. The Ultra Pro 99, too much power, too much movement in the strings. It kills strings quickly, drops the tension really, really quickly in that one. Yeah, Ultra 102 muted. And then obviously they have the Pro stuff, which is good, but it's very demanding. The blades, we will see how they are now. Shift is going away, I guess. So the Ultra Tour could be one for you to try. Overall, I would recommend a shaped string in this one to have a bit more lift on the ball. Maybe all the power, which is not like the most spinny string. It's a good string, of course. It's a legend in the string market, but it doesn't give you really that launch. So I would have a bit of a launchier ball, maybe like a Tour Bite. You could go Tour Bite Soft, even Tour Lino Toro could also work. And if you need help finding a racket or string, there are consultations on tennisnerd.net. That's it for this review. Have a nice day and don't forget to play some tennis.